What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. It's 1TS Daily live right here at One True Sport. One True Sport on YouTube, One True Sport on Twitter. What's going on? I'm Zack Heydorn, your host from Brass Ring Media and Sports Illustrated. So I'm happy to be here. Glad you guys are here with me too on this Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. Boy, I don't know. I'm sure everybody's joining from different parts of the world. I get that. In Chicago today, it was freezing outside, 37 degrees, standing at the old bus with my kids waiting to go to school in the morning. And I don't like what that symbolizes. That's winter. That means winter's on the way. That's not good. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's part of the reason why you live in Chicago. You get the snow, you get the winters. But man, those summers and those springs and falls, nothing better, right? Hey, if you love winter and you give me your thoughts as to why in the live chat. I need to be pumped up about the winter months coming up here. But anyway, enough about the weather. This isn't the weather show. This is 1TS Daily live at One True Sport. We are live here every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings, talking about the news of the day in pro wrestling and the news of the week, and everything that comes along with that, which is a very broad topic, but that's what makes the show fun. So if you're joining us on YouTube today, thank you. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're watching on YouTube, take a second, hit like on the video. It helps us out greatly, and it helps grow the show. Frankly, it helps get this show in front of more eyes like yours, and we definitely need that. So, help us out if you can, and hit like if you're watching on Twitter. Hello to you. Thanks so much. Certainly appreciate you being here. And thanks for hitting play on the show. OneTrueSport.com. Is it part of your day yet to go there? Make sure that you do. We have lots of stuff going on at OneTrueSport.com. Of course, we have our merch store there. You can check out all great merch. We have 1TS Daily merch. You should purchase that, proudly display it out in the world. If you have a 1TS Daily piece of merch on at a wrestling show, hey, we got special prizes for you if you wear it out to a wrestling show, snap a photo of it, and post it on social media. Be cool to see that. Hashtag 1TS Daily, and we'll get you a special prize. So keep that in mind. But today, I want to talk about, real quick, live chat's open, and we got people following the live chat right now. Thanks so much for being here. It's always a blast when you guys are in that live chat, making comments, asking questions. If there's stuff that you want us to cover on the show, definitely hit us up there. Ask us questions. Super chats are open as well. If you're able to make a contribution to the show with a super chat, please do. It helps me out, helps the show out, and we'll bump your question or comment up to the top of our queue and of all of our topics today. So do that if you can. Certainly appreciate it. Thanks in advance. All right, so we got a big agenda today to hit, because we got AEW Dynamite tonight. We have to talk about NXT that aired yesterday. We got some questions coming up in the chat here. I got one from Anthony that I want to hit, and then also some news and nuggets from the last 24 hours. Let's start with NXT and go over those results, because I think it was a good show. Not great, not great. It just, I think the last 2 weeks, was just incredible for NXT. I mean, you had incredible live, live audiences that aren't performance center audiences. You're in Chicago, you're in St. Louis, so a totally different environment. But so you're going to have a bit of a drop off from that. And I think WWE knew that. But anyway, the show opened with Tony D'Angelo, and he's the new North American champion. And, he cut a promo, cut a championship promo. And I just think that it was a good championship promo. And you don't see this too much, like in WWE. And it wasn't bragging. It just was, just a straight up promo from a guy who won the championship and a guy whose journey it's been to win the championship. And he had another confrontation with Obafemi. They have a rematch set, and it's going to be a tables, ladders, and scares match. God, I hate when they do that. I just can't stand the holiday themed gimmick matches. It just waters them down. What is a scares match, right? Come on, it's crazy. It's like a trick or street fight, right? I'm sure we'll see that here in October at some point, but no, I'm out on that. So Obafemi is going to be in a tables, ladders, and scares match. Come on, that's wild. Just wild to me. Anyway, I do think it'll be a good match, provided it gets it's serious. Anthony says in the chat here, I think Oba gets his title back at Halloween Havoc, and Tony is a little short run, and then gets called up after Halloween Havoc. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think Obafemi. I mean, look, he could get the title back, definitely. To me, the money match now in NXT on the men's side is Obafemi against Trick Williams, and I think that Obafemi has kind of just outgrown, the NXT North American Championship. He's ready to be a main eventer on that brand. And so I don't know. I think I would disagree, Anthony, right now at this point. I think, they've got something else in mind for Obafemi. And maybe that's a call up. I don't know, but I just think they have something else in mind for him at this point in time. Thanks, Anthony, for the comment, and I have your questions, and so I'll definitely make sure to get to those. All right, from there it was Stephanie Vaquer against Ren Sinclair with the No Quarter Catch crew along with her. Stephanie Vaquer won this match in four minutes. Fine match. Afterwards, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez beat down Vaquer, and then of course Julia ran out for the save, and they cleared that ring. And then the tag match got set for Halloween Havoc. It's going to be Stephanie Vaquer and Julia against Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. So no surprise there. And I think this is a pretty good match. I think this is a fun match. I think it's a good match to kind of get another pay-per-view event under their belts without having Roxanne Perez defend her title against Vaquer or Julia again. This is a good stopover. At some point, they're going to have to iron out the Julia, Roxanne Perez stuff, right? I mean, Julia and Vaquer stuff. They're going to have to fight each other, I think, at some point for an opportunity at Roxanne Perez. So that'll be interesting to see how they balance that. But for now, they're teaming up, and I think it's the right move for sure. Lexis King wrestled Ora Mensa. King won that match. It was a gentleman's duel. Oh boy, goodness gracious. From there, we had Lola Vice against Nikita Lyons. Lyons defeated Lola Vice. Another short match. Match stocked up with a card and a show stocked up with short matches. Then we had Ridge Holland against Riley Osborne with the Hail, a battle of former friends in Chase University. After the match, which Holland won, Holland continued to attack Osborne, and Andre Chase ran out to make that save. Big pop for Andre Chase, and it looks like they're going to be on a collision course for Halloween Havoc as well. The Andre Chase faction continues to just befuddle me a little bit. I'm interested in it, and I shouldn't be. I don't know. I guess I'm interested in what I'm interested in. But are you guys is it just me that finds the Andre Chase and the Chase U faction compelling? There's been so much storytelling going on. I mean, they've been a thing since NXT 2.0. Right? Since NXT 2.0 was a thing back in 2021, this was a key act there. And I remember at the time being oh my God, a university within the NXT environment. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? And it's worked. It gets me every time. And I think it's part of that is the talent. Most of it's the talent, right? They put everything into it, and it works for that reason. It's like Undertaker. Well, I'm not comparing Chase U to Undertaker. I'm saying I don't think Undertaker works with any other guy playing that role other than Mark Calloway. Same thing with the Chase U folks. I don't know that hits without these group of talents together, like playing that spot. But it's compelling to me. I don't think it's interesting. That'll be a good match. Ashante the Adonis versus Brooks Jensen. Jensen with Sean Spears. Jensen wins the match. Fine match. Was what it was. And then in the main event, Javon Evans wrestled Ethan Page and Wes Lee for the number one contender to the NXT Championship. Ethan Page won that match and is now the number one contender. He got on the mic, called out Trick Williams, and told Trick Williams to spin the wheel. They brought back the Havoc wheel for Halloween Havoc, and the wheel landed. It's going to be a Devil's Playground match. So there you go. There's your main event, Halloween Havoc. Ethan Page versus Trick Williams, again, rematch, but in a what do they call it here? I can't even remember. Devil's Playground match. So street fight, essentially. I'm a little surprised that they're going back to Ethan Page here. But it makes sense. It makes sense on like a quick turnaround notice for pay-per-view to do it that way. They've added a stipulation. Trick and Ethan Page have history. So I think, it all makes sense. I just don't know how much drama they're going to be able to build. I just don't, this is Trick Williams' time. I think this is his real run as NXT champion. And I think he's going to hold the belt for a while. And so I don't think Ethan Page is going to win here, but I think it could be a good match and suitable and fine for a NXT pay-per-view main event. Let's go to the chat here for a second here. And let's see here. Okay. Anthony, again, says, hypothetically, if Ethan Page wins the title at Halloween Havoc, Zach, how would you build it? Obafemi, would you build him up more as a babyface in that feud or a tweener? Or Ethan, if Ethan Page wins the title at Halloween Havoc, Anthony, like, Obafemi, I think, would be the ultimate babyface. I memean, no tweener at all. Like, he is straight up babyface on that. So, no question if that's the situation. Now, I don't think, as I just mentioned, I don't think Ethan Page is going to win the title at Halloween Havoc. I think you're still looking at Trick Williams. And again, I think the money match in NXT right now is Obafemi against Trick Williams. So in that scenario, he is kind of more of a tweener. It is more of a babyface thing, but Femi will just naturally kind of get that tweener reaction because he's bigger and people love Trick. And so that will influence things. But hopefully that answers your question, Anthony. In regards to Andre Chase, Anthony says here, honestly, Andre Chase is just Chris Nowinski or Matt Stryker. Just was a stable. That's the only difference. Yeah, it is. I mean, in theory, yes, I'd agree with you. But there's like, again, it's how Andre Chase plays it. It's how the whole faction plays it. Like, it has all the makings of like a lame WWE faction. But because you have a group of talent that knows what it is and puts everything they have into it, I think it stands out more than Nowinski and Stryker ever did. I mean, seriously, like, I think it like way more than it ever did. So, that's my take on that. Let's go to an Anthony question here. He's had this in here for a while. Zach, do you think it'd benefit both Julia and Stephanie to have a manager because their English is not that good? Sean is in our chat. What's up, Sean? Sean answers this question. This is always fun when you guys do this. Sean says, Anthony, what's up, man? They could both have a manager, but I think Julia speaks good enough English where she can stand out on her own. Yeah. Julia can speak English, so I think she's fine. Stephanie Vaquer, a little bit of a different story. You got to find the right person. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you have to find the right manager, and that's where I struggle. I don't think she would suffer because she's got a manager, but the question is, who is it? So I don't have a good answer for that. So I think I would say no at this point in time, because you don't have like that standout person to be in that spot. Like, if you're suggesting to me like, oh, maybe Robert Stone, who's an NXT manager right now, like, no, definitely not. Like, that's not a good match. Just totally different tones there. Rey Mysterio, that certainly would be something for Vicker, but that Rey Mysterio is not a manager. He's an in-ring guy now. I mean, he's still going. So yeah, no, I don't think Rey works. This is the issue. I don't know that they have a good person, there that can pull this off. So I'd say no, Anthony. I wouldn't put him with the manager. I would just, find ways to present Stephanie Vicker. It's not the first time and won't be the last time WWE is going to have to feature talent where English is not their first language, and they got to be better at it. They need to be better at it than Vince McMahon was. I mean, he was terrible about that. And featuring those international stars. And Paul Levesque has been a little better, but not great. So they got to step up their game. They got two big time talents here, and you don't want to, them to lose any of their essence because you can't figure out how to book them because they don't speak English. Now, they should learn that language for sure. They're performing in the United States now, so they should learn that. But it's on the promoter to get the most out of them. And so, if that means manager, okay, who's it going to be? And that's where I think that there's an issue. So, okay, so that's NXT. Yeah, good show, but not great. A fine show, but not wonderful. And definitely not as newsworthy as the last couple of weeks. I'm curious as to see like what the rating is going to be, what the viewership is going to be. It did huge numbers on the CW the first 2 weeks. They're on the road, though. They had Punk. They had Randy. They had a plethora of other main roster talent, top main roster talent that they didn't have this week. Not a lot of promotion this week either, like on Raw, like for NXT. Like, you had your spots, but nothing crazy. So yeah, we'll see what the number is. But I'm very curious as to what that turns out to be. We also have Dynamite tonight. This one should be interesting. This one should be interesting. Not like nothing huge on the match front, but like certainly some big time stuff in terms of like storyline development and Wrestle Dream fallout. So here's the card. Mercedes Moné versus Queen Aminata for the TBS title. Christian Cage versus Jay White. Shelton Benjamin in his debut match for AEW on Dynamite against Lio Rush. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR, against Big Bill and Brian Keith. And then what I think will be the main event, Kazuchika Okada and the Young Bucks against Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Rocky Romero. Also on this show, they are featuring the return of Adam Cole and a big talking segment from Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, the new AEW World Champion, going to address, I guess that, and will he address anything else? We'll see. Will he address kind of some of the illusions he's made about somebody else being in control or another entity being in control? I don't know either, but that is like the selling point of this week's show on Dynamite. No question, right? Like what does Jon Moxley have to say after everything that happened at Wrestle Dream and after winning the world title? Moxley rarely misses in situations like this. I think he's got a really good sense of what has to be done, from a business perspective and from a show perspective, storyline. He's got a really good sense of that. So I expect him to hit a home run here, and he needs one. Like, this storyline, you can't miss on it. Like, you've had like two swings, right, at the ball with big storylines. You had the Devil storyline, totally fizzled. We'll get to that in a second. Then you had the Elite, beating up Tony Khan stuff totally fizzled, just completely like just crumbled to pieces. You can't have that. Like you need to deliver. You need to deliver on this, and it's in the right hands. You know, it's in Jon Moxley's hands. It's in the hands of the guy that you know can do it. But you know, it's got to be that way. You know, he's got to hit a home run for your company, and this promo I think is really important in terms of setting the table for what this run as champion is going to be for him. And so I'm really interested and intrigued as to what goes down. Adam Cole speaking is interesting too. On the Brass Ring Media show that we did, and for our members, for our Brass Ring Media members, we do a pay-per-view review for everything, audio review, YouTube review for everything, every pay-per-view, every PLE, and more. So you can check that out right now on Patreon, patreon.com/BrassRingMedia. And I hope you do. That's my, other shop where I run that shop with a great team. And I hope you guys check that out. We have content on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. You can get all of our live YouTube shows as podcasts as well. So check that out on your favorite podcast feed. And then, of course, we have a Substack newsletter that gets updated daily with all of our written work. So you can check that out there, Brass Ring Media on Substack. I mentioned this on the show, like Cole and MJF seems to be what is on the table for AEW. And I was happy to see them just not mention the devil stuff or the Undisputed Kingdom stuff. Like, let it go. It was so atrociously bad and failed spectacularly on multiple levels. You can pinpoint AEW's drop in ratings and viewership to the silly partnership with MJF and Adam Cole. Like, you can. So don't go back to it. Like, I know that like look, 9 times out of 10, Zach would be sitting in this chair going, hey, tie up that loose end. Treat everything with a backstory, and like make sure that your audience doesn't feel dumb because you're just overlooking something that's obvious. This is not one of those situations. This is the one time. This is the one time where you don't want to do that. It doesn't benefit anybody to go down that road again. Adam Cole was worse off because of it. MJF was worse off because of it. The company was worse off because of it. Let it go. So Adam Cole's a babyface. MJF is a heel. Great. Put them together. Awesome. But that's it. That's all you need to do. Just do that. Forget about it and move on. So smart for AEW to do that. Very smart. Good on you. Let's get to another Anthony question here. Anthony says, Zach, with Moxley winning the title, what does this do for the purveyors of violence? And with him having the title, he has the power. Does it now really need a person controlling it from the background? Yeah, I don't think it doesn't need anybody. It doesn't need anybody. But he has to explain what he was talking about. Maybe it was him, maybe it was him all along, right? I think there's a way to weave that in. It doesn't need someone. It doesn't need someone, but it needs an explanation. Hopefully that answers your question. Like, it does you need to like connect those dots back for sure. And I think you will. Now, I am not in the camp of it needs to be Shane McMahon or it should be Shane McMahon. Like, it shouldn't be. Like, Shane McMahon running Jon Moxley, this Jon Moxley, like, come on, no. That doesn't make any sense. Jon Moxley, from a character perspective, is not going to take direction from Shane McMahon. Like, no, not going to happen. So I don't think it needs to have a person, but it needs to have an answer. And I think we're going to get a clue as to what that answer is, tonight on the show. The other question here we have from Johnny. Johnny, thanks so much for joining in. Do you think the build to Full Gear will be amazing? I don't know. I mean, I think, history would tell you no, it won't be, unfortunately. So that's my answer. You know me. I want to give answers. I don't want to hedge. So my answer is no. I don't think it will be amazing. I hope it is amazing. I hope it is something that, we can really sink our teeth into. But there is no history to tell you that it will be this at that time. So tough to say. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate you listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in live. F50 is here, and he says, this AEW show looks great on paper, but for me, the most crucial part is how they handle Cole and MJF. After the Stokely-Chris split, a hazy explanation could just add to apathy for investing in storylines. Yeah, I mean, as I said, F50, and you made this, I think you just popped in, and thanks so much for the comment. I don't know what explanation you could give. This is the problem. Like, I don't know what explanation Cole can give here without looking silly and without going back to an angle that has been a mess. So 9 times out of 10, I agree with you. 100% F50. But in this case, I just forget it. I forget it and start new. I really would. Like, it just it's just one of those things. Sometimes it just doesn't work and you got to just let it go. I think this is one of those situations. Anthony says, Zach, I'm not sure if you agree with this, but every time I hear Moxley do his promos, I hear a lot of Terry Funk, Jake Roberts, and Raven. No question that those 3 guys are influences on him for sure. He puts it all together. I think there's some Roddy Piper in there as well. All right, so that's AEW Dynamite. We'll review the show tomorrow right here on 1TS Daily, so don't miss that. Also, some news that I want to hit. Kevin Owens is reportedly close to signing a new contract with WWE, a contract extension. Backstage Pass Q&A with Bill Apter. Let's see here. I want to get the quote right. Let's see. Didn't get a definite one way or the other, didn't get an absolutely the deal's been signed, but did get a really positive response that is very close, if not completed with a handshake. So I imagine he's around for the long term. That's after on Kevin Owens. So got to imagine that that's in the works, and it makes total sense. Like, why would Kevin Owens not want to sign with WWE at this point? Like, he's in all the top stories. He gets a lot of television time, and certainly that pay is going to be good. Also last week, there was reported that WWE is working to sign a lot of people. The Takedown at SI's got this. Rhea Ripley is reportedly close to signing on the dotted line with WWE too on a new contract. Once again, no surprise there either. She's very important to what WWE is going to do, and so it makes perfect sense for them to sign her to a long-term deal. All right, you guys, fun show as usual. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks to Johnny and F50 and Anthony and Sean and everybody else who joined us live. Appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit like. And if you're not subscribed, goodness, subscribe. We've got all sorts of content coming up here on a regular basis right here on the One True Sport YouTube channel. So hit that up. And also check out my work at Brass Ring Media right now. Just go right there. As soon as I hit end on the show, search Brass Ring Media on YouTube, subscribe, and you get tons of great content all throughout the week. Our niche is like long-form analysis of wrestling. So deep dives into stuff. I'll be live on the Brass Ring Media YouTube channel this afternoon, 3 Eastern, with a specialty show called Spotlight that we do every week. Excited for that, and looking forward to doing that show as well as others. So check it out, Brass Ring Media on YouTube. Cool. Guys, thanks so much. We will see you all tomorrow right here, 11 Eastern. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and we'll talk to you guys really, really soon. See ya.